Do we know what time it is? That is right. Oh, I did that yesterday as well. It's story time. So get comfy, snug up. So we've seen our wet bear try and get warm and rolling across the kitchen floor. And now we're with Katie the camel and the desert party. So let's see what happens. Katie Camel was miserable. Everyone had tried to cheer her up, but she still seemed miserable. Little Bear had spent nearly a whole morning standing on his head trying to make her laugh. Bramwell Brown had gone through his entire collection of jokes, and Old Bear had made her breakfast in bed. "Why are you so miserable?" asked Little Bear at last, when they had stopped standing on his head. "I feel lonely," said Katie, as she nibbled sadly at a piece of Old Bear's toast. "I had a lovely dream last night. I dreamt that I was in the desert all night. The sky was full of stars, and I was playing in the sand with lots of other camels. And then I woke up," she added sadly, "and I found I wasn't in the desert, I was here. And it was very disappointing, when one minute you're in the desert and next you're not, and one minute there are lots of camels and next there aren't." "Yes," said Little Bear, "I expect it is." "Never mind, you've got us," said Katie doubtfully. "But you're not much like camels, are you?" I suppose not," said Little Bear. Little Bear left Katie staring sadly at a picture of palm trees she had found in a book, and went to tell the others why she was so miserable. "Oh dear," said Old Bear. "But don't worry, Little Bear, I think I have an idea." He gathered all the toys together and whispered his plan. Soon the whole playroom was a hive of activity. One group of toys seemed to be painting something big, and another group had needles and thread and were sewing pieces of material. Bramwell Brown had gone out to the garden on some secret errand. Later on, when Old Bear said everything was ready, they all went to collect Katie. Katie had been so busy being miserable that she hadn't noticed anything going on at all. "Now, Katie, we have a surprise for you," said Old Bear, "but we don't want you to see it until we get you there, so I'm going to blindfold you." Carefully he pulled a woolly hat down over Katie's eyes so she couldn't see where she was going. Then he led her down the stairs and out onto the garden. Once there, he said, "All right, you can look now," and he pulled off the woolly hat. They were standing on the edge of a sandpit, but oh, how different it looked. All around the edge was cardboard cut-out palm trees that the toys had carefully painted to look like real ones. The sand had been raked smooth to look like the desert, and all the toys were dressed up as camels. Some had proper camel suits on that they'd made, and others had put on coats and jumpers and had ping-pong balls inside their jumpers to look like humps. Some had one hump because they were dromedaries, some had 2 humps, and one rather forgetful little teddy had 3 humps because he lost count. "It's a desert party," said Old Bear, "and you are the very special guest, Katie." Katie stared in amazement at the sandpit desert and all the teddy bear camels, and then she began to laugh, and soon she was rolling about in the sand laughing. "Oh, Old Bear," she said, when she could find the breath to speak, "this really has cheered me up. How could I mind about a dream now? All my friends are real, and they make wonderful camels." And that night everyone was very late to bed. They were all out in the sandpit, dancing and singing by the light of the moon and the stars. Katie Camel still sometimes dreams about playing with the camels in the desert, but now the dream doesn't make her miserable. It reminds her of the surprise desert party and all her very kind friends. Wasn't that a lovely story? Now, this book has just a little poem here about a bunny, so I thought I'd also read that to you. The Bunny Dancer. Lizzie Long-Ears loves to dance, with music or without it, and if she ever gets a chance, she'll tell you all about it. She'll mention that she leaps and lands on just one toe and stays there. She balances so perfectly, she might spend several days there. She pirouettes and hops and jumps, and if you've ever seen her, you'll know without a doubt that she's a bunny ballerina. Well, that's such a lovely one. Should we read that again? The Bunny Dancer. Lizzie Long-Ears loves to dance, with music or without it, and if she ever gets a chance, she'll tell you all about it. She'll mention that she leaps and lands on just one toe and stays there. She balances so perfectly, she might spend several days there. She pirouettes and hops and jumps, and if you've ever seen her, you'll know without a doubt that she's a bunny ballerina. Well, wasn't that 2 lovely stories? 1 story and 1 poem. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!